What should I consider when naming an LLC? First of all, if you have an LLC, each state has a law that defines what the name must contain, and usually the last part needs to have a certain bit to it. So in Iowa, for example, it needs to end with the words limited liability company, LLC, or limited company. It can't end in company because that would be a corporation. And so that's usually the number one thing, is you have to make sure it ends with the proper phrase. Second of all, you have to decide, do you want it to be easy to spell, remember, and pronounce? If so, then you should choose a name that's easy to remember, spell, and pronounce. So when I launched my business, it was Iowa Business Lawyer. And that is a very easy name to spell and pronounce and remember. My last name is Newsum, Nuzum, and people very frequently misspell it or misspeak it. And so I did not want my law firm to be called Newsum Law Firm or something like that. And so I deliberately chose not to use that as my business name. Another thing is, it's got to be distinct from other businesses. And the law has a pretty low concern about how distinct it is. And so that if you just change one letter, then you can come up with a name if the name you want is taken. But you should also consider making sure that there is no likelihood of confusion, and that when other people see your business name, they don't think it's some other business, because that can get you into trouble with trademarks. And so look for something that kind of is unique. But I think that Johanna, since she asked a question about real estate, she might be thinking about what should you name an LLC for real estate. We will oftentimes see people use holdings or enterprises or investments or something like that in their name. And that just makes it clear that this is a business that is simply holding property. However, that also can make you a target, because someone might say, oh, Johanna's Investments LLC. That sounds like it's probably worth a lot of money. Maybe we'll sue them. So, that's one possibility. But I would say make sure that it's distinct, make sure that it complies with the law of the state, and then also think carefully about how easy it is to spell and pronounce and say. Just want to remind you, subscribe so that you get to see our future announcements. Thank you so much. See you again in 2 weeks.